Any comments or questions?
Now that you've received most of the results.
I don't know who has the mic.
Here. My name is Rita from KTN News.
Yes.
Now that you have received most of the forms, what is the exact voter turnout? And the chairman on his Twitter handle had said 6.5 million voters cast their ballot. Was that him, or what informed the 6.5 million?
Robert Nagila, CGTN. Just want to go back to the 25 constituencies where voting was cancelled. Are you in a position to tell Kenyans exactly when you think you will be able to conduct elections in those 25 constituencies in the 4 counties? And what assurances do you need from the security services for your staff and to be able to conduct that poll? And finally, what makes you think that you will be able to conduct successful polls in those 25 constituencies when clearly the residents in those 25 constituencies are resisting any attempts by the Commission to hold any polls there?
Okay.
Still, it's a follow-up on his question. My name is O'Brien, and I work with the national broadcaster KBC. I want to find out from you, if indeed you do not manage to hold elections in those 25 constituencies because of one reason or the other, what is the other card that you have? Do we really have to wait for that process to come to a halt, or what is the other card that you have? And then question number 2, are you in a position at this point to tell the nation what exactly is the voter turnout based on the Form 34Bs that you have received so far?
Okay. Let me answer those ones. I'll ask the chair to respond to some. Now, as of now, as the chair said, as actually of 1:27 p.m., we've had 37,161 transmissions through the KIMS kit. Now, the difference between this election and the August 8th election is that there was text data transmission during the August 8th election, and that text data transmission was based on the actual counts of votes for the individual candidates, which was being transmitted, and it was being auto-tallied, and that was able to give instantaneous voters per polling station, and which eventually could help us calculate instantaneously the voter turnout. In this particular election, that particular facility has been disabled, as explained earlier, by the Commission due to the additional candidates participating in the election, and this therefore meant that particular application had to be reviewed, and that aspect was disabled because there wasn't time to reconfigure the system to include the additional candidates. Now, in the absence of that, the transmissions that are being done from the polling stations is not accurate in the sense that the transmissions that come from those kits will only tell us voters identified biometrically and voters identified through alphanumeric search. In other words, through ID card numbers. But we also know there is a complementary mechanism of voting whereby voters are allowed to vote as long as they are in the voter register, but they cannot be
an additional 91,000.
We will have to counter-check and confirm and get back to you on that. I don't have the details of that.
Chair, once more, now that you've clarified on the turnout and the things which are being circulated, you've dismissed them away. Some quarters have done their tallying, and it is ranging from both, I don't want to quote any media house, but it is ranging. But according to what you've just clarified, it is totally different. Why is the variance?
Now, this time round, we have allowed unfettered access to all media, to all our polling stations and our county tallying centers. And therefore, and I am aware that they have had a consortium of media houses trying to create a tally. Whatever they are displaying is based on what they have collected themselves and also what they are able to download from the Form 34As that have been transmitted and are accessible publicly in our public portal. We do not take responsibility for the accuracy of what is being displayed. And what is going to be displayed is what you will see on that screen. Thank you.
Finally, from me, I'd want to find out these. As we wait, as we welcome the chair to respond on the question of tweets, I'm also keen to find out because this process appears to be it's likely to drag on for a couple of days from now. Are we likely to get to a situation whereby, judging by the figures that a certain candidate will have gathered, are we likely to get to a situation whereby you are likely to declare the candidate as the winner, even as we wait for elections to take place in the 25 constituencies that you have mentioned? Or we have to wait for all of them, to conduct the elections before the winner can be declared?
The answer to that question we will arrive at when we reach there. We still have statutory 7 days, and we still have a couple of days to make that decision. Thank you.
About the tweets on 6.5 million. Now we have our team working on, now that we have received, the number of that 4As we have received. The team is working on the exact figure of what was the voter turnout. And you'll be getting a comprehensive figure as per those forms which have been received. So as of the time the tweet went out, that was the figure. In the course of today, or as soon as we receive it, we shall give you our figure as to the turnout. So please be patient as we work on the exact figure. Thank you.
I think, Chairman, just before you go back, it's just fair to explain to the country. You tweeted that 6.5 million voters...
Sorry?
You tweeted that 6.5 million voters had turned out to vote. And I can tell you that from the independent calculation based on the forms that you displayed on the portal, the total vote count goes to beyond 7.3. Where did you get 6.5 million from?
Okay, let me put it in as simple English as possible. We were receiving the forms as they were coming in, and we were also tabulating the figure as the forms were coming in. So I can give you the exact figure as at that time. I don't have the data with me now, but there's a team working on it. Now, based on the forms which have been received, we are going to give you the exact figure of the total turnout. That is how many? 37,000? So at the time the figure of 6.5 went out, the forms were not 37,000. They were much, much less than 37,000. Are we together? So if you are patient, we shall give you the exact figure of the turnout in the course of these proceedings. Thank you.
Chair, last question.
We can engage further
Last question,
at
Chair.
7 p.m. I have to finish the set of forms which I have on my desk. Thank you.
Chair.